there is a major difference between a married couple and a cohabiting couple, because the major differences are that firstly there is a claim on behalf of the dependent spouse, normally the wife, for maintenance, whereas a cohabitee, a female who may have been living with someone for a number of years, has no right and no claim to maintenance. The other significant difference is that when a couple is married, there is an automatic entitlement to a share of the assets either accrued before, during, or after the marriage. Whereas a cohabiting couple, there is no such claim, no such entitlement, and the claim by the wronged cohabitee is based upon trust law, which can be very complicated, and is based upon what contribution has been made to a specific property, which may have been acquired during the relationship. So it's quite penal for a couple, particularly for a female who may not have got any property in her name, as compared to a female who has been married.
But if a cohabiting couple have a mortgage together, how would they do it?
Well, if the property is in joint names, then one would expect that the property is divided equally between the couple. It's rare that that does not take place. So my advice to any couple who are going to live together is that they should regulate their property rights by ensuring that the property which they purchase acknowledges on the title deeds how they've bought it. So it could be bought equally, it could be bought in unequal shares, but the inequality could be outlined on the title deeds.
Is any of these laws relating to marriage and cohabitation, is it due to change?
There is a lot of pressure on the government to bring in legislation which allies cohabiting couples, particularly cohabiting couples who have children, allies the law relating to the distribution of assets more closely to the divorce law, so the law relating to a couple who are married. And the Law Commission have given an indication that they are going to recommend a change in the law, which means that couples can opt in to an arrangement whereby their finances are resolved in a much more closely to the way in which a divorced couple their finances are resolved.
Would that be more like a contract you'd actually have?
Yes, you'd correct. You'd enter into a contract, an opting-in agreement, which would give the couple more or less the same rights as that of a married couple.
What time aspects are you looking at?
It is likely that the couple will have to be together for between 3 and 5 years, and or have had a child.
Okay. And what about this law? How soon can we expect something to happen?
It's difficult to say. The law changes very slowly in this country, and this is going to be legislation that will have to be introduced. And so my guess is that if there continues to be the pressure which is being applied by judges, by legal commentators. My guess is that this will take 5+ years, something in that sort of region. But it's very difficult because it's not a vote catcher, this area of law.
So, cohabiting couples at the moment, do you have any advice you could give to them before the law?
I would always say to a couple that they must regulate how they purchase any property or acquire any asset to avoid any conflict in the future. So I would say to a couple, if you're going to buy a property, then make sure that the title deeds to that property indicate how you have purchased it, what contributions you've made, how much you've paid, so that if there is a dispute in the future, then the title deeds will record how the property should be divided between you, because it should be in accordance with how you've contributed to it.
But at the moment there's no type of contracts that you can sign. I mean, in terms of if one of the partners stay at home and maintenance have to...
No, it is possible to enter into a cohabitation agreement. And that cohabitation agreement, a bit like a contract between the couple, will regulate their financial positions. The difficulty with cohabitation contracts is that, firstly, they've not been tested by the courts. And secondly, if we take the equivalent in a married couple, which is a premarital agreement, they're not binding. So my advice to a couple who want to enter into a cohabitation contract would be, by all means do so, but be warned that it doesn't necessarily follow that everything you put in the contract will be upheld by a court.
So it's better to just get married.
It's better to just get married.